Welcome, everybody. Now that everyone is here, we can get started with a review of the minutes. I forwarded the minutes to everyone separately. Did you all receive them?
Yes.
Nope.
Nope. Frank?
No, I'm still not getting emails from you, and I'd sent you a few. I reached out to you a few times, and I didn't get a response either.
I did receive your long email and I did respond.
Yeah, I'm still not getting your emails.
Okay, I'm going to send you text messages from now on. How about that?
Okay, that sounds fine.
Because I think you did send me your text,
Yes.
text number, cell phone number.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think maybe that's a good. I just don't understand what the problem is, but there are many electronic things that I don't completely understand. So let's try to, maybe we'll adopt a snail mail alternative. I can send you minutes by the mail, but who knows? Okay, for those of you who did receive the minutes of the meeting, did you have any changes, corrections? Seeing none, can I have a motion to accept the minutes as submitted?
Motion to accept?
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okey doke. Minutes are accepted.
Hey, Nancy and Frank, do you want me to see if I can forward something from you to Frank or something like that to see if my
Sure.
email address might work?
Sure. Are you on Gmail?
I am.
See, I have a Gmail account also, so
Okay.
I don't know that would solve the problem, but I'm certainly open to trying.
Okay. You can send me either a test email or whatever the next
Sure.
email is, and I'll forward it on to Frank. I'll see if I can find your email or if I get your email, and I'll forward it on to you and then confirm if it goes through.
Yep.
How does that
sounds
sound?
great. Yeah, sounds. Thank
That
you for
sounds
that.
good. Okay. All right, since we have a visitor here, Bronwyn, did you want to address the commission or are you just listening? Okay.
Sorry, I had to unmute. I'm just listening. Thank you.
All right. Well, you're certainly welcome to listen, but I wanted to extend the courtesy to you to see if there was something that you wanted to reach out to us about specifically.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
If not, we'll move on to the body of our meeting with some little financial matters. I would like the permission to renew the commission's membership in 3 preservation organizations. Historic New England for $125, Preservation Mass for $50, and the American Association of State and Local History for $98, for a total of $273. Questions, discussion?
Do you want a motion?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to give $273 for the renewal of the 3 preservation organizations.
Okay, thank you, Fran. Because this involves an expenditure, I will need a vote by a voice vote. Okay, an individual voice vote. So we'll start with Kathlena.
Yes.
Do you approve? Yeah. Therese?
Yes, I approve.
Jean? Frank?
I'm a non-voting member.
You are, but well, you know.
Okay, I approve.
Yeah. We still want to be polite.
Appreciated.
Okay, Dan
Yes.
and Jen
Yes.
and Fran.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, on the subject of the demolition delay bylaw. We were fortunate during the summer in that we had no challenges to confront on the demolition delay bylaw. There were one person wanted to tear down their house because they had had a fire in it, but they were not on our list. And then there were two other questions about older houses that, once again, were not on our list. Our power, as you know, is limited to and if you've read over the demolition delay bylaw, you will see that it refers specifically to specific properties on a list submitted by the Wakefield Historical Commission and on file with the Mass Historical Commission. We have an inventory sheet on each and every one of those properties. Unfortunately, over the space of time, we have lost some of those properties. People have torn them down. And different things have happened. So I would like at this time for kind of volunteers to take on the list as it appears online at our website, historicwakefield.com, under significant properties. And I'd like it if we could divide it up into two parts, and maybe somebody could take the first half and somebody could take the second half, and just look over all of the entire list. I mean, I could do it, but I'd really like to reach out and give more opportunities to the members of the commission to be more involved. So I'd really like it if I could have maybe two volunteers, one to take the first half of the list and the other to take the second half, to just read through it and make sure all the properties currently on that list are still standing. Any takers?
I'll volunteer. I can volunteer too.
Okay,
I can
all
help.
right. So Jen, you want to take the top half and Therese the bottom half of the list?
That works.
Okay, great. Now, it would be wonderful if we could grow our list. And we certainly can do that. But the only way that we can do that is, as we discussed and decided on years ago in our procedures, it can only be with with notice to and approval of the homeowner or property owner, because all of the houses and all the properties obviously are private property. So I've been trying to grapple with the idea of how best to do this. And it seems to me, and you tell me if you think this idea has merit, I would like to see if we could get homeowners to voluntarily put their houses and properties on the list. And this is how. Okay, I've been thinking this over. You know, we have our historic house marker program, and periodically over the years, we have done a mailing of that, the flyer for the historic house marker program through the MLD mailer, very simply. And so I wanted to see what you would think about resubmitting that, revising it, and resubmitting it through the MLD mailing that goes out every month, which we could do, and we have done it, as I say, several times in the past. And in case you haven't been with us all that long, basically we get 12,000 flyers made, and it's usually done by the item. And they are mailed out with the bill, with the light bill. So you know those things you get in the light bill all the time. You're like, oh, a letter from Paws or whatever. It would carry our message, and it can be the Wakefield Historical Commission with information about the commission and also information about the Historic House Marker Program for those people who might want to get a house marker for their historic home if the home is over 100 years old. And also asking them, do they believe that their house is historically significant? Would they like their house to appear on our list of significant sites? What do you think about that idea?
I think it's a great idea.
Thank you, Fran. What about anybody?
I like it too. The only question I have is how or who, if a homeowner comes forward and says, yes, I think I have a house of historical significance, would it be criteria that we look at or someone else has to look at to decide yay or nay, or?
Oh, we would.
We would, okay. I like the idea.
That way we would get volunteers for it. And it might be attractive to people who might be thinking about selling their house, but they'd like to make sure that it, give it a chance to not be torn down. So if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to come up with a draft of this flyer, and we can bring it. I'll send it to you all, and I'll make sure that Frank gets it too. And we can take a look at it and see if we want to make any revisions. And I'd like a volunteer to call and arrange for this with the MLD. You just call the office. I was thinking January might be a good time for it to go out, because January is a kind of a quiet month.
Those people would have to prove that the house was old. They could, because you're going to have some people that are just going to claim it is to get listed, and they may not have any proof of it.
Well, that's true. With the whole, and you probably don't, I should have maybe sent the current house marker sheet around, Jean, so you'd remember it. But it currently says on it, you have to prove that your house is over 100 years old in order to qualify for the historic house marker. And we certainly have language about proving that your house is historically significant. That would protect more homes and properties. And we would have a proviso in there saying that it was at the discretion of the commission. You could nominate your house, but it would be at our discretion.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
So I know that this probably come up in the past, but forgive me, but in my experiences with speaking to people about this sort of thing, a couple of times I've come across people who had concerns about like the restrictions that come along with being a member. So could you enlighten me a little bit on how to kind of work around that, or kind of reassure them that it's a good thing and not something that they should kind of shy away from?
And that's an excellent question, Frank. It really is something that a lot of people worry about. They think, oh, if my house is listed, I can't paint it. I can't change the windows. I can't get a new kitchen. And of course, none of that is true. And so all of that would be important to mention in the flyer, that it would place no restrictions on your ownership of your property, unless you want to tear it down, which it would slow you down from doing that anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's quite simple, actually. Thank you.
Yeah. There's a difference between being a listed historic site and being in a historic district. A special historic district is made up kind of through a covenant of homeowners or property owners participating in a historic district, and they also agree upon restrictions, some restrictions for their properties. But this varies from historic district to historic district. And we do not have any of those here in Wakefield.
Okay.
But that's an excellent point. So do we have a volunteer to call the MLD and make an arrange for this?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank
I'll
you,
call.
Fran. Thank you.
So you want January or sometime after the holidays? if
Yeah, I
January's
think
not available.
January or February, sometime when people are, when opening your mail is kind of something that you're gonna,
Something you look forward to.
yeah. And then
Not in January and February, those few bills would get a high.
Before tax season, right?
yeah, just that narrow window when you're bored and you don't mind opening your light bill. And also it also we would also do a little drive in the Wakefield Daily Item, and maybe we would ask the town to include it in part of one of the email blasts that the town sends out from time to time. We want to familiarize people with the program. We have had inquiries about the historic house markers, but no takers over the summer. So it needs a little boost. So I thought maybe dovetailing these two things might do something to help spur both programs. And honestly, outside of that, the only way of growing the list is to reach out to individual property owners one by one. And in seeing how some communities handle this, some people send them a certified letter in order to make sure that they know that their house is going to be placed on the list. I think a voluntary move like the one we're thinking about is a lot easier. Who knows if it'll be successful, but we'll give it a try. Okay. All right. The next item on our agenda here is we need a volunteer to attend a meeting in Linfield. This would be a meeting at the Linfield, Meeting House. The Linfield Meeting House on October 6th, Wednesday, October 6th at 6:30 p.m. It is going to be an informal meeting of several different historical commission members from different communities. I think they invited Linfield, Wakefield, Reading, and Winchester and Middleton. So at any rate, I cannot attend that meeting. Is there any one of you who would be interested and able to do that?
I would really like to volunteer for that, but I'm actually up for jury duty.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
When did you say it was?
It is next week, the October 6th.
I already have a meeting for that day. I can't do it.
Okay, 6:30 p.m.
I don't mind going.
Who's that, Kathlena?
I don't mind going if you need me. Yes.
Yes,
Kathlena.
okay, great. I'll let them know then. If anybody else would like to go as well, you'd be welcome as well. But I'll let them know that Kathlena will be going. And then possibly, Kathlena, you can report on the meeting to us at our next historical commission meeting.
Of course, no problem.
If
Okay, great.
If I'm not called up for jury duty, I would certainly be interested in going as well.
Okay, it will be once
just
again.
didn't- I just didn't want to make a commitment without knowing, what's ahead for sure. So,
Sure, sure. They are going to be discussing the various challenges that we all face from in all of our communities and towns, which is developers, the problems that we have and people wanting to tear down historic homes and historic properties and build all kinds of bizarre buildings and McMansions and high-rise blocks and things like that. So we definitely have limitations. It would be interesting, it will be interesting to find out if any solutions have been arrived at by the other communities. So Kathlena and Frank, if you can, it'll be interesting to hear about that. So thank you for committing to that. I will email you all of the specifics, Kathlena, and I will text them to you, Frank.
thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks, Nancy.
Okay, great. I appreciate it. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but the town is going to embark on a new master plan. It's something that they do every 20 or 30 years. I can't remember when I think it was about 20 years ago that the last one was done. It's very important that our perspective, the historical perspective, is front and center in our voice is heard in the development of the master plan, I think. I did participate in the Vision 2030 thing that went on, just kind of like a mini master plan, just geared for the next couple of years. The major master plan focus is supposed to guide the town in future development. That is something that we are all concerned about. So I would like to encourage you all to think about joining in the master plan effort. If you would like to participate, you simply fill out an application. And I can forward you all that information as well, so that you'll have it. And if you wouldn't mind, you don't have to, but if you could let me know if you are going to apply, because we would have to be selected. Because if nobody from the Historical Commission is going to apply, I would probably apply. But I'd like to give you the opportunity to do that instead, if you'd like to. Okay. All right. And the final thing on my agenda for this evening is the old burying ground. I'd like you to know that there will be a virtual tour of the old burying ground going on at the end of October. And I'd like to invite you to come along with that if you'd like to. It's something I do every year for the Historical Society. And it will be virtual again this year, so pretty painless, just before Halloween. And especially if you don't know anything about the history of our old burying ground, I would encourage you to think about participating in that. So I'll send you the information on that as soon as it is finalized. I am not familiar with this raising hand thing. Bronwyn, did you want to speak?
Yes. Yes, that's what we usually do in Zoom meetings. So, the chair can call on us. I was just curious as to why the old burial ground will be virtual.
Because that's what I can do. That's
Oh.
why. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that I thought it was COVID related or something, but
Somewhat, but it's also knees related. So,
oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you on that. Okay, thank you for that
Okay.
clarification.
okay, anybody else? Okay, at this time, I'd like to encourage all of you. I know you all care deeply about the town and about historic preservation. So I'd like you all to not hesitate at all. If you have ideas for projects that we should undertake or issues that are concerning you, all you have to do is let me know that you'd like us to put it on our agenda, and we'll be more than happy to do that. I'd like to make the commission more, give you more of a role in it, all of you. So think about that, okay, for the next time. And our next meeting would be scheduled to be, yep,
Could I just add two quick things?
sure.
Do you know anything about the project that's supposed to go by the Floroway? I hear, are they gonna be repaving the Floroway with hot top or cinder or something?
I don't know precisely the material that will be used, but I know that they're doing they're turning a tennis court into a pickleball court and replacing the back fence of the Hartshorn House. I'm not sure what the material is, but I can find out for you.
I think by the tennis court, I think coming up that pathway, it used to be, but I think they're supposed to go all the way to the Floroway. And it sounded to me like they were gonna hot top it or something.
Yeah.
I have information if I
Yeah.
might speak.
Okay,
I spoke to town engineer Bill Renault about this because I was interested to see if they could do the permeable hot top, which is better environmentally, but is more expensive. And Bill said that they did check into that, but decided to not go with it for a variety of reasons. And he did feel as if the regular hot top would be better environmentally because it would lessen a lot of the stormwater runoff directly into the lake.
I know there were a few places there that was like a washout.
Yes, there's a lot of gullies, particularly up on the top part on the hill. Yeah. So I was hoping that maybe there might be a good compromise for that because I understand, the American Disabilities Act and that's important, but I just hated the idea of paving the Floroway, but it is what it is. So that's the info I have.
okay.
I
You
have
cool
a
with that, Dan? And you can pass that along to
Okay.
our correspondent from the Commission on Disability Issues.
He
Does
has
that- Yeah.
I have a question for Frank. You were gonna hopefully find an expert on the best methods to restore some of the stones in the cemetery. Were
Yes.
you able to find somebody?
Yeah, you're looking at them.
Oh,
Yeah, I actually have the skill set to handle that on my own. I have the tools. I would just need to acquire some nylon rod, some sort of a synthetic material to put inside the headstone to hold the two or more pieces together. And I basically did a little bit of research, and I actually sent some information to you, Nancy. Did you read through that email? Did you get that email at all? It was
I did.
basic,
I
like a
have
high-level-
I am concerned about trying to put something inside the slate gravestones. I don't think that would work out for the slate gravestones.
Okay.
They're extremely fragile. And those that are broken, I would have a real problem with it. I think we would have to go with, well, I'm certainly open to ideas that you might have for it. I am very concerned about inserting anything into the body of the slate gravestones because they're so fragile.
Mhm.
Well, in Boston, Harts Hill and the North Shore, the North End, that Cops Hill Burial Ground, they had some stones that were really fragile. And they repaired them by putting rods in them and putting them all together. But when I brought this to everybody's attention, I was just concerned about using the upper stone and putting it on the base. But if you walk through the cemetery today, you'll see there are more stones that have been broken over the summer. It's in worse shape than it was when we discussed it some time ago.
It is, and if we were to undertake to try to do something about the marble stones, the three that are in three parts, that's a different issue because they have rods inside them already
Mhm.
that have disintegrated over time. So that would be a perfect trial for you to try to put, if you wanted to stick some of those together.
And may I ask what type of material was used as a rod inside of those?
Those that's the way they came. That's the way they were made.
Oh,
with-
okay.
With metal rods inside of them.
Oh, well, see,
They're marble, so they were three parts. There was the part like that goes like this, right? And then there was the base, and then a pediment on top of that. And then there were metal rods joining those three parts together. And over time, the metal disintegrates, and that's where you see those white stones go toppling over.
yeah, the oxidation process when things rust, it expands and it's
Right.
wreaks havoc.
And, geez, they last for about 100 years, but after that, it's a problem.
I mean, 100 years is good.
Yeah, I would think so, but it gives an overall appearance of neglect for the old burying ground. So I will find the email that you sent, Frank, and email it to all of the members of the commission, and we can talk about it next time.
Okay.
I had a question, if I may.
Okay.
Are you looking for a volunteer? Or are you looking for a paid professional to do the repair work?
I think for my personal opinion, and I'm one member. My personal opinion is for those slate gravestones is that we should seek the help of a consultant who has some experience. And maybe what we did years ago, Frank, is we had a old burying ground preservation day where we had a workshop where we had a consultant come out and show some methods that were kind of industry standard for old burying ground professionals in fixing just these slate stones. We never, ever even attempted to do anything with the marble stones because we had no proficiency at all with that.
I know of a professional who's done extensive work on the North Shore. If you were interested.
I think that's the next, maybe another step of our journey, Bronwyn. Let's get Frank's email into the hands of all the members of the commission, and we will discuss this at our next meeting.
Maybe later on, try to get something, maybe a grant from the Preservation Act. Would that cover some?
We don't have the Community Preservation Act in Wakefield.
How do we go about getting it?
You would have to vote it in through the town meeting. And the town meeting turned it down. I did send you all information on the Community Preservation Act a few months ago. I'll resend that. I've got a lot of homework to do here.
It
No.
seems like people want us to save the old buildings in Wakefield and the homes in Wakefield, yet they tie our hands that we can't have the funding to do some of this work.
Hmm.
And that bothers me.
Is what bothers me are the stones that you don't want to touch or do anything to. And I interpret that as saying, oh, just let them rot away. They'll go by the way, and that'll be the end of it. Eventually, we've got to do something. We can't wait until they're so bad that they're beyond being restored or repaired.
Jean, and you know very well that I have spent thousands of hours at the old burying ground, working on the stones and cleaning the stones and trying to restore and repair the stones. We're not letting anything just sit there and fall apart. However, any action we take has to be one that is thoughtful and I think probably pretty expensive. So we would have to chart a path for this particular journey. And I am asking to discuss this at our next meeting.
Okay, and we certainly will want to ask the town to help provide money to hire the professionals that we will need to do it.
And we can, we can, when it's time, as we approach the spring and we're asked for how much money we want for our budget for the next year, we can factor all of that into it. If we have a plan and we have professionals or whatever chosen and a target budget and what we think we can handle per year, it needs study and it needs a plan. Okay. All right. So our next meeting, when will it be?
Tuesday, October 26th is the fourth Tuesday of October.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any questions or issues? Anything else to discuss?
That next meeting would be held at the same time.
Yeah, 7:30.
Okay.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, all right, guys. Thank you very much. See you next month.